Are you prepared to grow your business today? Stay tuned for what's about to occur. This is the Razor Sharp Show with your host, Ray Milidoni. Stay tuned as Ray invites business owners and entrepreneurs onto the show from all over the world to discuss how they are owning this economy and how you can as well. Are you ready to sharpen your saw? Here's your host, Ray Milidoni.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're joining me from today. This is the Razor Sharp Show, and I'm your host, Ray Milidoni. And welcome to episode 004. In today's show, we meet Natasa Denman, who is the owner of the Ultimate 48-Hour Author. Natasa is a author herself and has helped over 120 entrepreneurs become published authors. She has written 7 books via the Ultimate 48-Hour Author System, and she's also a mum of 3 who are all under 7. Today's show is absolutely amazing. Natasa covers some tips and tricks on how to get published and authored, and talks about how her business has helped change so many entrepreneurs' lives. And she also has a bonus gift for the Razor Sharp community. So listen out for that during the show. It is absolutely pleasure to interview Natasa today. So without further ado, I absolutely had fun interviewing Natasa today. She's full of energy and you will enjoy this interview. So let's jump into it. Hi, Natasa, and welcome to the Razor Sharp Show. How have you been?
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
No worries. Are you ready to sharpen some saws?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, cool. Excellent. So, Natasa, why don't you share with the Razor community a little bit about what you do and how you've been doing it?
Awesome. Yeah, so I've been in business now 6 years, nearly at my 6th year anniversary, and
Awesome.
I run a company called Ultimate 48-Hour Author, and we help service-based business owners publish their books in just 48 hours. So
Wow.
It's really quick. Yes,
Yeah, excellent.
and a lot of fun.
Perfect. I think that's exactly how entrepreneurs want to operate, get things done quickly. And so what started the business? Why was it a book that you wanted to get published? How did it all kind of begin?
Yes, so in year 1, I qualified as a life coach, and I didn't really have a niche. And I happened to have a meeting with a printer who told me at the time, after hearing what my passion was around mindset and human behavior, I have a degree in psychology and psychophysiology. He said, "You know so much about this stuff, you should definitely write a book. It'll be your business card on steroids." And I thought, oh my God, I think he's right. Like, I literally didn't need any convincing, and I went on the journey of writing my first book, which then developed interest started coming in from other health and wellness practitioners, because the first book was on weight loss, the 7 Ultimate Secrets to Weight Loss, and other people started saying, how did you do this? How do you develop programs and all this sort of stuff? And that's how slowly over the following 3.5 years, it developed and it ended up being the Ultimate 48-Hour Author program now.
Awesome. And I think that's so evident in the entrepreneur space that sometimes when you solve a problem for yourself, there's actually other people that need that problem solved. So a great way to kind of flip that into a business. And so this has been going on for 7 years now, and you run events. I believe you've got an event goal this year. So tell us a little bit about why you set that goal and how you're doing to achieve it.
Yeah, so I just thought, last year I looked at my calendar, which is over there on my wall, which is one of those whiteboard calendars I buy from Officeworks every year to plan out my whole marketing plan schedule. And I actually started counting how many events I had done last year when it was around October. And I was getting close to 70, and overall I did 72 events. This is events that I've either spoken at or have been a guest speaker at, so not networking. With networking would have taken me well over 100. And so then at the end of the year webinar, which we always run between Christmas and New Year's to our community, we declare what our goals are for the next year. And we said that I was going to go towards 100 events that I've either hosted or have spoken at as a guest speaker, and that was going to be my goal for 2016. So which meant that now actually I have just completed 43 events in 3 months. So now I'm keeping count and updating them in the back of my diary. I am on track,
Awesome.
if not ahead of time. Yeah.
Awesome. You're going to celebrate crazy at your 100th event?
I think so. It's going to have to be like I've got to think of something. Yeah. It's going to be massive.
Excellent. I think you're well on track and you probably smash it, which is fantastic. So let's jump into some of the questions, get the Razor community knowing a little bit more about yourself, Natasa. What's something that you've crossed off your list today?
Well, I've put away things that I've been on a trip interstate for 15 days, which meant a lot of follow-up and a lot of admin things.
Yeah.
So I have put away all my receipts and tidying up my desk so I can, have all the appointments that are scheduled today. So I love being clutter-free because it just helps me focus on what's most important.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. I definitely think that you can always tell how organised someone is by the way that they present their desk, and one thing equals everything. So, excellent.
Yeah.
When did you know that you were wired for business?
Oh, I didn't. I was, I went on, there wasn't a choice when I had to start in business. My husband had lost the business, which was like our defining moment in March of 2010. And for me, it's like it was a shock. So I kind of went, what the hell are we going to do? And I felt like I needed to if I wanted to be successful and have enough to create the choice in my life, that I would have to take responsibility and not sort of wait on someone else to do it for me. I was working at the time, and then I enrolled into a course that said I could work part-time hours and generate six-figure income. So I said, oh, well, I'll go and learn how to do that.
Yeah, nice. Excellent. And then it just never stopped.
And it never stopped. It just kept getting crazier and crazier. And back then I thought that was such a huge achievement to get to six figures, never imagining that I would ever be able to also generate seven. But it's happened as you grow. I think you set those goals that stretch you more and more, and you keep achieving greater things.
Yeah, excellent. And have you found that, being around the right people has influenced your way of living and how you've grown into the entrepreneur that you are today?
Yeah, I believe so, because I invested in a lot of mentors and a lot of courses and went out networking to surround myself with business people, because I did not know one business owner prior to starting the business. So I really needed to build a network. And by surrounding myself with those people, I grew and outgrew a lot of them. And but I continued to educate and stretch and collaborate. And it's interesting how the more successful you become, the higher quality people and connections you end up attracting in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely feel that that's a common theme that when I meet different entrepreneurs, and I've seen that experience in my life as well. And it is very refreshing to meet new people and kind of be challenged and get new mentors and outgrow. And it's definitely, the journey of progression, and definitely gets you closer to your goals. Now, without your own books, is there a book or a podcast that you've listened to that has changed your life, and why?
Well, the book that I believe triggered something maybe well before I started in business was when we used to work for OPSM at a conference. I heard a lady, a keynote speaker by the name of Terry Hawkins, and she had written a book, There Are Two Times in Life, Now and Too Late. And she's more in the retailing niche, like delivering programs for retailers and all that sort of stuff. So back then I purchased that book, and I reckon I read it 4 or 5 times and gave it to 100 people. Yeah, I still have the copy all chewed up here. So that I think it triggered something in me that day when I listened to her do her keynote, saying, oh my God, that looks like so much fun. I'd love to be doing what she's doing. How does someone do that? I wonder, how does someone do that? And literally 10 years later, I was at a retail conference, this year and last year, that I got invited back for. I was doing a keynote on social media for them. So I was doing what she did back then. Podcast-wise, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts, but I was an Entrepreneur on Fire. And prior to that, a year earlier, I had listened to that podcast for, 5 or 10 episodes. I thought it was cool. I just don't get enough time to listen. So that one I liked, but then I actually also ended up being a guest on it. So it was really cool.
Awesome. Excellent. John Lee Dumas, amazing podcaster, and EO Fire is definitely a podcast that has inspired me to start the Razor Sharp show. So excellent.
Yeah.
So that book will end up on our book list on the website. So I think you make a really good point that a great book is one that's been, loved and shared around. And, books they look good on a bookshelf, but unless they're being actually circulated and used, that's definitely where their power is. And, a great gift that you can do is be inspired by a book and get someone else reading it and changing their life as well, which is, I guess, quite interesting to, you publishing books as well and creating that momentum of other people inspiring and touching lives. So excellent. So in business, there's lots of ups and downs. Can you share with the Razor community a story where maybe sometimes things haven't gone to plan and you feel like maybe you've failed forward or been a bit deflated, and how did you get through it?
Oh my God. There's been many, many moments, and I'm not going to remember all of them.
No.
But the most recent one, I'll share with you the most recent one. It was after it was only like 6 weeks ago. You think like I'm generating a 7-figure income and I don't have bad days of feeling like I'm a failure. It happens at every stage of this game. I was at Perth Airport waiting for my plane to come across to Adelaide. And I had just hosted 2 of my signature half-day events, from which then people choose to decide into our retreats. And I had 16 people in one, 21 in the other, and 17 collectively out of those wanted to qualify into a retreat, which meant a half an hour one-on-one conversation with all those people. And not one person confirmed that they would like to come along, right? And I felt like I worked so hard, so many really, really hot conversations. And then I was sitting there at the airport and received an email that someone pulled out of one of my Melbourne events that had committed a week before. So not only had I travelled so far, I was -1 at this stage, and I just started crying and going, I'm hopeless. I don't know how to sell. I'm a failure. This business, I can't keep going like this anymore. And then the next day in Adelaide, I felt like, it's just going to happen the same thing. And the morning of Adelaide event, one person from Perth had confirmed, which made me feel a little bit better. And then after Adelaide, but then I have to keep remembering that there's sometimes a lag behind what happens until you have the conversations and the things. I ended up confirming 4 authors from that trip, except at that moment it felt like I had done 33 events and a very, very slow start. And I just felt like, oh my God, like, what is it that I'm not doing right? What is it that I'm not saying right? And I was distraught. Like, I just wanted to throw the towel in, and I go, Natasha, I talked myself out of it. I said to myself, you know that you're the person that's going to feel like shit, but you're going to get up tomorrow and you're going to do it all again. And I did. And I got through that. And now after my 15-day trip on Queensland, I confirmed 10 authors and some on the spot. Like, that was like huge, massive. Yeah.
Excellent. And that's a great share. Thank you for sharing that, Natasha. I definitely believe, there's a couple of key points that you've mentioned there, and this is for the Razor community listening, that, you need to be persistent in what you do, and there will be times where you get knocked down and you kind of want to throw in the towel, but you need to rezone to why you started doing what you did, and also the appreciation of delayed gratification. In the entrepreneur space, we always want things now and straight away. And I think sometimes you've got to know that you've got to put in effort and set the tone, and the glory of it will all come when it's right and needed. And so, well done, and congratulations for sticking in there and maintaining a successful business and touching and inspiring many people's lives around the world. Now, why is it? What keeps you ticking? What's the number one thing that keeps you ticking for your business? Is there an underlying why?
Of course, everyone would say the family and being able to put food on the table and live the lifestyle we want to live, because we love to travel. Like, I'm always going to go to Thailand for a month after my May retreat. I'm going to go to Italy and Europe for a month after my August retreat. So really doing the 100 events, I'm squeezing them into 7 or 8 months. I don't really have a full year. Yeah, right. I'm going to have some fun too. I'm going to have some fun time off as well. Look, I'm very much driven by significance, and I guess what I do is very closely linked. Like, my tagline to my personal branding is I make you famous, and I operate on the 3 F words, which are my values, and they're fun, fast, and fame. And everything that I provide to people needs to have ticks on all of those, but I want to experience life in the same way. So that's important to me, to be recognized, to be seen, to serve at the same time. You don't get recognized for fame or whatever it is unless you've helped people. Even the Kardashians, if we like, people go, they're just famous for being famous and things like that. They still do a lot of hard work in the background, launches and events and all of that sort of stuff that serves and adds value to people.
Yeah, awesome. And there's always been that saying that if you help enough other people achieve what they want, then you will, naturally gain success. So I love that. Perfect. Excellent. So let's, obviously you're a mother of 3 kids, children under 7. Is that right?
Yeah.
How do you stay focused and balance that? Is there family time, business time, or is it all kind of meshed together and you've worked a way of doing it all in one?
Yeah, so certainly in the first 2.5 years, I would say there wasn't very much balance, where I was just studying, being mentored, going to trainings, trying to get the business off the ground and make it viable. And that's where I had to sacrifice a lot of time, where I needed to focus on the weekends and did the best I could to balance it. However, once we've now got it going and we're into like more of a routine, if you like, we do have, as I said to you, about 3.5 months off the year, where we go away for a whole month, or we just went away on the Anzac Day weekend to a trip. Easter, any long weekends, we're always somewhere away from home. It's work hard, play hard. So there's intense periods where, like, I was 2 weeks in Queensland, I didn't see my family. I just worked morning to night. Then it's going to be a whole month where we're together. So that's how balance is achieved in our family, and also the fact that my husband is part of our business, but mostly his number one focus is to make sure he's the nurturer and he cooks and looks after those school drop-offs and pickups, say 80% of the time. So we're 80-20 is home and children and family, 20% business. I would say I'm 80 business and 20 in that role. So it's well-aligned values with us too.
Awesome. Fantastic. Excellent. And so let's jump in a little bit more about your weekends and your programs. And so what are some of the tips that you can share with the Razor community in regards to getting published in 48 hours? And what's something that they could learn at your events or being more closely around you?
Yeah. So the biggest secret, and it's so obvious that people don't even realize as to how it gets done so quickly, and that is that people speak out their book. So obviously they don't speak from the top of their heads. We have a system on how to unpack their book, and we actually demonstrate this book unpack system in our signature half-day events we run all over the country. So after the book unpack, we go into a chapter unpack, which is a template and a system behind it. So it really gives people almost like, 2 + 2 is 4. Like this is how you do it. It's really, really, when people come to me and work with me, they go, we didn't realize it was going to be this simple. So we speak out the books, and about 7 hours of speaking will actually give you around 40 to 45,000 words, which is your standard 160-page book. So we actually don't do it in 48. We do it in 7. But the other time we actually teach a lot of marketing. So my program is heavily weighed 30% about getting the book from start to finish, and 70% what the hell do you do with it now? So awesome. So that's the other time and the other focus that we do with our authors.
Oh, that's fantastic. So not only do you get the book published, but you also give the marketing method to get people to sell what's now initially a secret. So, getting that out there.
Yeah, I think my program has about 5 or 6 high-end programs blended into one. Because so many other components beyond the book publishing, like publicity and further product development, social media, all of that stuff, you have to get good at in order to spread the message and gain that fame and recognition for the book.
Awesome. And do you have many authors that get the bug and then they, publish more than one?
They do. We've only been doing this for 2.5 years, and so we've had authors for the last 2 years out. So they're still all in the early game. But a lot of the ones that did retreat 1, 2, or 3 are speaking about, and some of them have done a second book. It is addictive. Like I'm about to publish my 7th, so I've done pretty much one a year. Yeah.
Wow! Congratulations. That's fantastic. Excellent. So let's Is there any other bits of knowledge that you could possibly share? Like, because I know you've got the events and the books. Is there a page that people can go to on your website to find out more information about what you do and how you do it, or any freebies for the Razor community?
Yeah, sure, Ray. Actually, I have got my whole book for your Razor community. So the whole 160 pages of the Ultimate 48-Hour Author book, which can be downloaded at ultimate48hourauthor.com.au/gift. Okay,
wow,
so
excellent.
Pop that on for them, get them to go, and the whole system. I'm no fluff. I'm a really how-to person. Is in there, and I'd love for them to invite them if they want to come along to any of the half-day events, which are really, really low, inexpensive. They actually get the real copy of the book when they come for the part of their ticket, and we run them all over Australia. So get them to contact me, and I will tell them when the next date is.
Yeah, awesome, fantastic. Razor community, the links of that will be all in the show notes below. And on the podcast notes. So look out for that. But thank you very much for that awesome gift and sharing that ebook with the Razor community. That's fantastic. So, massive action is what you need to do if you actually want to set your business up for success. And there's an actionable item that you can take away and actually start reading and getting some points, but then also go along to an event and put more reason behind what you're reading and get around the right people to accelerate your business success. So thank you very much for that. Are you ready for the Razor round?
Let's go.
Okay, so these are quick answered questions. So who's someone that has been your mentor?
Peter Blash, my very first mentor. I've had 3, but he is the one that stands out in my mind.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you for that. And what is one thing that you wish you knew 5 years ago that you know today?
Oh, gosh. Nothing. I think I've learned everything in my journey that I've wanted to learn, and it's been at the right time. I have taken the right amount of action and all that sort of stuff, and I think it's been the right speed and setting for me. I don't think I could have done anything more to tell my old self.
Awesome. I love that. That's definitely, true to myself, because I definitely believe that success is a journey, and everyone goes through the path differently, and the right things will happen at the right time. So I love your honesty with that one there. Now, keeping on the theme of honesty, how many business ventures as an entrepreneur have you actually done?
Oh, let me count. Yarra's coaching, ultimate weight loss, ultimate business edge, cutting it. I think about 6 or 7 until
Awesome.
I got to my $1 million idea.
Perfect. And that Razor community is definitely, true with a lot of the interviews that we've done, that, there is always going to be times where you need to kind of have a different business, and also the ability to pivot, which is a good part, where you don't throw away what you've done, you just pivot the business and set in a different tone. I've had similar journeys. I'm on 7, I think. So it's definitely, lots of fun, lots of learning, but you're always constantly changing, and eventually you get closer to your $1 million one, or you achieve it. And then you set yourself new goals. So fantastic. What is something that you could change in the world right now if you could?
People's way of thinking. I think it's mindset is huge, and if I can... because I speak a lot, I'm already on a mission to do that, to get more self-awareness out there and remove the blame and finger pointing that tends to occur. So, yeah.
Awesome. Love that. Definitely bringing success to significance is something that I've been reading a lot about lately is, once you become successful, how can you go and change the world? And you made a good point before with the Kardashians. While they are, seen not so great in most people's eyes, they are definitely working really hard. And a lot of, singers and success, in the pop culture, they are really truly changing lives behind the scenes. It's just the media doesn't always cover that side of their story. It's always about the gossip and the rumour. But there's always more significance to a lot of people's lives once they get into that successful state. So excellent. What's a website that you visit daily to survive?
Oh, I don't really. I don't visit maybe a Facebook. That's a website, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I do follow a lot of what you do, and you definitely use Facebook in a way where it doesn't waste time, but you use it to leverage, your business and share, golden nuggets and live streams is something that you're doing a lot now, and that's great because it's given me as a viewer an insight to how your events run, and definitely teases what's going on, and FOMO kicks in. It's like, oh, what else am I missed out on?
Totally.
So I love that. So keep them coming. What's one of the best pieces of advice that you've ever received?
Don't be too precious on anything. Change it if it's not working. That's what Peter said to me when I was still under my very first brand, which didn't stand for anything. It was PRS coaching, and said, Nat, what the hell does this stand for? Change it, and often I will say that to people I mentor to serve them. And I always remember that if something's not working, change it. Don't just keep going at it. So that is it.
Excellent. Perfect bit of advice. I definitely agree with that. What's something that you've learned in the last 7 days?
That I need to have a rest. What have I learned? Oh, show, don't tell. I was reading a book on the plane. I read sales books. I always want to improve my conversion, right? And I've been reading this book. Don't ask me who it was by because I can't remember it off the top of my head. But he's talked about showing, don't tell. People tend to not even listen that much. But when we show them, and this is why the books are so successful, and I think I've done so well, is because I create so much tangible stuff out of the intangible. In service-based, everything's selling hot air. And and if you can show people pictures, videos, tangible product, like even if they're not going to get the tangible, create a tangible version of it. Show, don't tell. That's what I learned, and I've told it to like 1 million people now.
Absolutely. We'll increase that with the show. So that's actually, it always stands true that actions speak louder than words. And, with a lot of people talking the talk, it's those who actually walk it and show and practice what they preach that actually stands out and builds that longer loyalty of customers and clients. So excellent. And what is your favorite productivity hack?
I'm very organized. I always have inbox 0. Awesome. Okay, so they don't, and there's like everything, like you said, like we said before, clear offers, clear inboxes on Facebook. Like I go through once in the morning, I'll do it first thing, and certainly I'll try in the middle of the day, but yesterday I had training, so I couldn't do that. But always I stay as late as I possibly, can. And of course, I'm not going to kill myself, but I always respond to everyone within less than 24 hours, unless I'm on some holiday where I'll check in every 2 or 3 days. But always aim, and how do you do that productivity-wise? Well, you just have to set aside a focused amount of whatever 15, 20 minutes you need, and just get it done, respond to people, and then move on to your next stuff.
Awesome, excellent. And you mentioned before about the whiteboard as well. Is visual aid something that helps you in regards to being organised with your whiteboard, or do you? Well,
actually, I do have. Actually, right now you remind me of things. Like I have so many things, but guess what? I created my own success planner last year, which no other planners were designed the way I wanted it. So I decided to create one for myself, and I printed it, sold like hotcakes. So don't ask me for physical copies. There'll be more in 2017. But I don't do a business plan as such. My business plan is my whiteboard, which is an Officeworks year-long planner. And I think I need to visually see where am I going, where am I going to schedule my city events, how much lead-up time I need to promote those. So that's super important. But then also I transfer things in the planner because then I'll take this with me. I can't take that big whiteboard around the country. And this actually has a paper version on over 2 pages of my calendar, so I can see, so that I'm not clashing, I'm not saying yes to speaking gigs or whatever it is. And I've learned so much through creating this. I mean, it was actually more annoying than writing a book, creating a planner. And I've got a whole page of updates that I'm going to make for next year. So there you go. I even do have my own stuff.
There you go. And that's another, great trait that I see through you that, and as entrepreneurs, if it doesn't exist, go and create it. Like if there is no process that works for yourself, go and create it, and then you're solving other people's problems. And like you've done again with that, you've created a product and people were lining up and you sold out of them, which is fantastic.
Yeah. I just know next year I need to print more pink because I only printed a quarter pink and the rest were black. And it was just like the girls, because I get followed more like by women and, they were like, oh, but we want the pink. And I go, oh my God.
Next year, swap the ratios around. Excellent.
Yes,
Excellent.
I think so.
And I was listening to one of your live streams, and I thought you said something really good, that if it gets scheduled, it gets done.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that was very, very good.
I think Tony Robbins said that. So, but I love, he may have heard it from someone else, or it might be just a generic saying. But I so believe that even when my mum asks me to do things, I said, get me to open my diary, put it in my diary, and if it's scheduled, I won't forget you.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, if you just say, do this for me, and it doesn't get put down, it won't get done.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, one thing equals everything. And my family know the same thing. My mum's like, can you put in your diary that we got dinner, da-da-da? It's like, if it's not in my diary, it won't get done. And, and sometimes she'll be a bit cheeky and be like, do you have time for me in your diary? Can you make Mother's Day? And things like that. Yeah. So she's a bit cheeky. But it sets the tone. People know that if they're going to book your time or spend time with you, that you value your time. So I think it's definitely need to be precious and something that we all have equal, and we need to protect it and share it, wisely. So fantastic. So we're coming towards the tail end of the interview. So thank you very much for sharing all your success and tips and tricks along the way with the Razor community. Just remind the Razor community the website that they can go with your special gift for us.
Yeah, so it's ultimate48hourauthor.com.au/gift. And 48 it says in the number. So, that's where you can go and grab it.
Links will be below in the show notes. Is there something that you want to leave the Razor Sharp community thinking about as they finish up the podcast?
Oh, gosh. Well, I guess it's an insight that I shared earlier that don't be too precious on anything. Change it if it's not working. And one thing I want you to start noticing is to know if you're taking enough action, because sometimes people think they're taking action, but they're actually not really going at a rate that's going to get them to the success they will be. And this is something that was really put into perspective actually from the same author that I shared earlier, Show Don't Tell. He actually said how you notice if you're taking massive action is when other people start commenting on your activity levels. So are other people commenting on your activity levels? Because I can tell you, Ray, people think I'm crazy. They see me. They go, we see you all over the place. They comment on my Facebook saying, oh, my God, this and that. So this has been happening for years now. Like they think, oh, she's so super busy, super, action taken, all that sort of stuff. That's how I know that I am taking enough action and it's massive enough. So perhaps leave them thinking with that.
Awesome. That is fantastic parting advice. So thank you very much for that. It has been an absolute pleasure having you on the show, Natasha. The Razor community definitely will love hearing your stories and what you've shared with us today. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you for having me.
No problems. And always be learning and stay sharp.
Thank you.
Right, I hope you enjoyed today's podcast, and what a great guest to have Natasha on the show, the Ultimate 48-Hour Author. Any entrepreneur can get published using Natasha's system with many years of experience. Definitely great. Make sure you take advantage of the gift that Natasha has kindly shared with the Razor community. Now remember, it's time to apply what you have learned. Without any action, everything that you've learned is pointless. So go out there, make some noise, and remember to share what you've learned as well. That is the reason why the Razor Sharp Show exists. It's not only to learn something, but it's to share it and get in that space of continual learning and teaching others what you know. That's how we all remain razor sharp. Until the next episode, always be learning and stay sharp.